Yo, what's going on guys, Ian77 here. In today's video we're going to be using Logbait, which has made quite a big comeback in Clash Royale recently. As you guys may have seen, very unfortunately Earthquake did end up getting an emergency nerf, and Earthquake was actually one of the biggest counters to Logbait decks, so now that Earthquake is pretty much dead, I feel like Logbait should actually make quite a good comeback in the meta. And Ice Spirit did also get buffed, so you may have noticed that I changed a few cards here compared to the normal version. We do have Knight instead of Valkyrie, and we do also have Inferno Tower, and also the Ice Spirit over Electro Spirit. So the reason I put Knight in this deck is because Royal Hogs are probably going to be like pretty bad right now. They were super OP, but just because they just were so good with their Earthquake, but now that Earthquake got nerfed, Royal Hog should be quite a lot worse, to be honest. And Ice Spirit is also super good now after the buff. I don't know if it's like too much better than E Spirit, but I feel like it could work pretty well here, so just want to test it out. But I think E Spirit and Ice Spirit are both quite good in Logbait, so you guys could probably have good success with either of them. Alright, and then this first match here, looks like we will be facing Giant Double Prince, so honestly a pretty good matchup here. He does have Zap and no Log, so when they don't have Log, it's always usually going to be a pretty good matchup, except against like Lava Hound with like arrows and Zap. That's a little bit harder, but yeah, I quite like this deck. Logbait is also just a very fun deck. And yeah, and by the way guys, I know I have missed commentary on quite a few of the recent videos. I definitely will try to get commentary as many videos as I can, but I do think that some videos I might not do commentary, just because like I'd rather have another video up without commentary than put nothing up for that day, because some days I didn't really have the chance to put my voice on it. But I did just get on spring break right now, so should be able to record a little bit more, and I think I will be daily uploading, so you guys might see some more videos coming out. And yeah, so I don't know if I really talked too much about the Earthquake balance changes, but after that emergency nerf, the Earthquake is basically dead. So honestly, if you're running a Hog Earthquake deck, this is a sad day for you, and I'm also kind of sad about it, because they nerfed like the Crown Tower damage by like 23%, so now there's not really any reason to be using Earthquake unless you want to like counter decks with like Cannon in it, because it's pretty much only good against Cannon, because even against buildings it doesn't really give you enough to break through. Like if they have a Tesla and you have Hog Earthquake, you're still not really going to break through very often, even with that Earthquake or whatever else. So it's really only good against a few buildings, and now it's not even good against towers. So yeah, I feel like Earthquake is pretty bad, but if you guys were running a Hog Earthquake deck, I would probably recommend trying to stick with the deck, but put like a Lightning or like a Rocket instead of the Earthquake, and that will be a good game here against Giant Double Prince. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're going to be up against this guy. Don't really know who any of these players are, so just going to start out with a Princess here in the back. Don't really want to be too aggressive with like cycling our defensive cards like a Knight or a Guards unless I really have to, so I'm going to go with that here. And I think I'm going to protect the Princess here. I don't think the tower will actually target the Baby Dragon, but didn't really have too many better plays, and the Princess might be able to survive. I'm not really sure if it will kill the Baby Dragon in time or not, though it might be really close here. Okay, looks like the Baby Dragon does just barely manage to get the extra shot, and looks like this guy probably will be playing Golem here, because nothing else really runs Night Witch. And okay, he will actually go with the Tornado there too, and honestly not the best Tornado. We were able to protect our Princess pretty well right there with the Guards, and yeah, doing pretty well right here. I feel like Logbait's a super solid deck, and the only really impossible matchups it had before were like some of the Earthquake decks. So now that Earthquake is pretty much useless, I feel like this Logbait deck should be quite good. Yeah, and by the way guys, what do you think of the Earthquake nerf, like of them just like straight up killing a card like that? Because I feel like, I don't know, I'm a little bit annoyed, because I feel like they nerfed Queen like 10 separate times and they only touched her like so little bit each time, but now that they or to balance Earthquake. They just like killed it like just with a single balance change. So I kind of wish they could have taken it one step at a time as they did with the Archer Queen, because like they gave Archer Queen like probably like 3 nerfs at this point, and it's still super OP. So kind of wish they could have just given it like maybe like even like a 5 or 10% crown tower damage nerf, because I feel like Earthquake wasn't like insanely OP in itself. It was just so OP because of the meta, because there was like Tombstone Cannon, Archer Queen with the 3-card cycle. So like, yeah, I already mentioned it in a lot of previous videos, but yeah, I was really more OP just because of the meta. So I kind of don't really agree with such a big nerf. I would have been fine to see a small nerf, but I feel kind of bad for you guys who probably were all trying to max out the Hog Earthquake deck, but don't worry too much. You guys can keep the deck like basically the same. I probably will make a video on the best Hog deck after the Earthquake nerf, maybe tomorrow or maybe sometime in a few days or so. And yeah, I feel like Hog itself should be fine still, but Hog Earthquake should be just about dead, to be honest, because there's really no reason to run it. And I'm not even sure if like the Hog decks that I like to use will be good anymore. I feel like some decks like maybe just like the Viper deck would be a lot better to run right now, because if I were to run Rocket anyways, I might as well use that. But I don't know, just gonna have to wait and see a little bit. I'm not completely sure what the meta will be, but honestly it's gonna hurt to be playing these Hog decks then start losing to Expo, because normally with Earthquake you would always counter Expo, but now that Earthquake is so bad and I probably won't even run Earthquake, it's gonna be painful to my soul to be losing to Expo. And yeah, honestly, even Hog Earthquake isn't even good against Expo anymore, because now the Earthquake does like way less damage than a Fireball, so they can just like spell cycle you out and you can't even break through really or anything like that. Like they don't even have to play a single Expo the whole game and they can still beat you. So yeah, it seems pretty, I don't know, pretty bad to me. I kind of wish they approached the nerf a little bit differently, or maybe the nerf was appropriate, like the way they nerfed it with the crown tower damage, but I just wish they took it a little bit easier and more like one step at a time. But at least it shouldn't affect like I think some of you guys won't really be affected too much though, because I know a lot of you guys are like more in mid ladder and you guys are playing like the Hog Lightning deck, so at least a few of you guys will probably not be too affected by the Earthquake nerf. Alright, and yeah, I wasn't really talking about this game here, but we are against this Golem deck, a really popular Golem deck, and honestly, the one reason I'd run Valkyrie in this deck is just to counter Skeleton King, because the Skeleton King should be really annoying right here, because we don't have a Valkyrie here, only have Knight, but it's not really doing the best job here. Alright, and yeah, gonna defend pretty well here. He's gonna go with the Baby Dragon at the bridge. But yeah, Princess does barely stay alive. Just gonna go with the Rocky here. Oh, shoot, he actually went with the Lightning. I think I may have just choked this. Okay, that's unfortunate. He barely won, but yeah, sometimes I do make mistakes myself too. I'm not the best Logbait player. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're gonna be facing this guy, and he does have Drill in his name, so he probably is going to be playing Goblin Drill here. I think I did face him a few times, and he was running that, if I remember correctly, so I guess Valkyrie would also be kind of nice against Goblin Drill, but to be honest, not many people actually run Goblin Drill, so I'm not really sure if it's worth it to have Valkyrie, but to be honest, I would say run Knight in this deck unless you're facing a lot of Skeleton King, then Valkyrie may be better, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Skeleton King is like really strong, but sometimes I feel like I don't face it for quite a few matches in a row, so I don't really know. I'm actually gonna go with the defensive Goblin Barrel here. Seems kind of crazy, but it's actually pretty good against Mighty Miner, because Mighty Miner is so bad against Swarm, and the Goblins actually are gonna chip away on his left side tower quite a bit, so that's pretty good for us right here. And the nice thing is that guards are always gonna clean up his Goblin Drills quite nicely, so even though we don't have Valkyrie, we still have ways to defend his drill. And I will go with the Princess at the river here just to get some chip damage. His Ghost probably will kill it pretty soon, and yeah, we do have to be a little bit careful here. Actually, I'm going to go with a Goblin Barrel on defense. I could have went with a Knight, but I kind of knew that he would go with something like like a cannon cart or some other spam unit, so I figured that it would be better just to save the knight. And yeah, he will go with the Mighty Miner cannon cart push there, but honestly, kind of a bad ability by him there. You do have to be careful with the ability, but if you face a Mighty Miner, the best way to counter is to place something in the middle of your arena, so that way, when it gets reflected on the other side of the map, if they ability, it will still be in range of the troop, so your troop will still be able to fully counter it. So yeah, honestly, Mighty Miner not too hard to counter. It's really good against beatdown decks when you're playing Mighty Miner, but against cycle decks like Logbait and stuff like that, it's honestly pretty bad. So yeah, but they did buff it. I didn't really mention. I only mentioned the Earthquake emergency nerf, but they did also emergency buff the Mighty Miner, and I feel like the Mighty Miner is actually a decent card right now. I don't think it's going to be super good, but I feel like in a few decks it might be usable, and it could also be like a good card to like snipe certain decks. Like if you're really if you're really angry at facing Golem or something like that, then I feel like the Mighty Miner would be the perfect fit for you. Alright, and he's getting like a lot of these lucky nados off that are getting him pretty good chip damage, but you're able to kind of avoid it pretty well right there. And yeah, Inferno Tower doing a good job as well up here, and he does have, yeah, so he does have NATO, so he can't really ever get barrel damage here, so probably just going to be a little bit passive here and kind of defend. And I will actually rocket that cannon card, going to give us some free chip damage, even though it's not on the tower we're going for, it's still going to get some damage, and will kind of allow us to not really have to deal with it at all. And yeah, so as you can see there, he went with the ability, but we kind of went with the guards more towards the middle, so it didn't really allow him to like escape the sight range of the guards. And I'm actually going with the rocket here. He does have the magic archer plus a drill down, so do have to be a little bit careful here, but yeah, looking pretty good. And okay, he's gonna get a good magic archer there. I don't really think we have any way to stop that. We do have pretty good defense against most of his stuff, but the one thing I'm kind of struggling with is his magic archer especially, so do have to be a bit careful. And he does kind of waste the NATO there, to be honest, a pretty bad NATO by him. And we did catch him out of cycle with his bar barrel and tornado, so we did get one goblin stab there, and just defending with these princesses and making sure he doesn't really get too much chip damage with anything. And also Ice Spirit plus Log does fully counter the Goblin Drill, so we always have that as an option, but it will only fully counter it if the tower is actually targeting the Goblin Drill as its place. Okay, so honestly we're in a pretty good spot right here. We are down a little bit, but I feel like at the end of the game we can just like chuck a rocket or two, so should be better for us the more the game goes on, I would say. And alright, just gonna go with the knight here. Do have to watch out for a magic archer he might use here soon, but okay, he does go with the NATO there as well, but honestly not the best NATO. And he does go with the magic archer, but I wasn't really trying to predict it because I knew it would get hit by the log if he went for it. And okay, his magic archer actually does get a couple shots on our tower. Not really sure how the knight got pushed that far, but not too bad. And he does go with the NATO there, so he does get a couple goblin stabs, and this is going to be super close here. He does get one magic archer shot there as well, but I think rocket should be enough here actually. And oh wow, that was so close. If his goblin drill had hit my tower, that would have been game, but pretty nice win here. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're going to be up against this guy, the famous Royal Recruits Goblin Drill player. He's basically known at the top of ladder for always like spamming crazy plays right at the start of the game, so gonna be interesting here. He does have Goblin Drill, if I remember correctly, so it should be a little bit more difficult that we have Knight in the deck over Valkyrie. Would have liked to have like the Valkyrie against Recruits and stuff, but should be pretty okay here. And honestly, we are going to be down quite a bit here. You should go with the Recruits to counter everything pretty well. I wasn't really expecting him to go with that. I kind of thought he'd just use his cheap units, but he does end up going with that, so it will be a little bit more difficult right here. But Princess is putting in work here, and I don't really think we can defend those wall breakers. So just going to focus on countering the Goblin Drill. We did actually take like probably well over 1,000 damage from the wall breakers and maybe like the Goblin Stab or two, so not looking too good right here for us. But honestly, he has no big spell or no small spell either, so even if our tower does get pretty low in HP, I'm not really too worried as long as we're careful. Alright, it looks like he's just going to ignore our push in the left lane, and he's going to try to go for our right tower here, but I think we should be able to defend here, just with a little bit of HP, but should be okay, I think. It is going to be pretty difficult, though, because now he does still have Princess in his deck, so we can always Princess the bridge, and we can't really predict it too well, I feel like. And his Ghost does chip away quite a bit in the opposite lane, and yeah, I do have to waste our guards there as well, and yeah, so that probably will be tower down here, just because of the Magic Archer, but just gonna see if the buffed Ice Spirit can stop it. No, just barely doesn't, so I feel like it should be a little bit better for us in double elixir, because that way we can pretty much always have enough elixir to stop his stuff, because before he was always attacking us when we were super low on elixir, so should be a little bit better now, I hope. And he does actually go with 4 recruits in the right lane, so gonna give us a super good log here, and we don't really need to save it for his Princess, because we can just like easily go with guards on it. I'm actually gonna go with the Inferno Tower here, just in case he went with like wall breakers or something like that, and looks like he won't go with them here, so maybe not like the best Inferno Tower ever, but still kind of just like blocked the whole lane up, so you couldn't really do anything with it. And we are down quite a bit here, so we kind of have to be a little bit aggressive with our Goblin barrels and stuff. And okay, luckily the Princess actually did get a splash shot right there, so that's pretty good for us right here. And the main thing we have to use here is our Princesses. We don't really have too much other ways to kind of like control the field, so just need to stack our Princesses, hopefully get a little bit of Goblin barrel chip damage here, but his King Tower is helping him quite a bit, so pretty difficult to really get too much damage here, but we can always cycle like a rocket or 2 at the end, so there's still a chance we can do well. And actually, you know, with the Inferno Tower here, gonna kill the Magic Archer, I think, and tanked for the wall breakers as well. So honestly, a super good Inferno Tower right there, and since I defended super well, I'm gonna go with that Ice Spirit Goblin Barrel here, hoping to get a bit of chip damage, and honestly, pretty good chip right there, just like slowly getting back into the lead this game. And yeah, it would be easier if we had like Tesla or something in this deck, but still should be pretty okay, I think. I'm gonna have to go with the defensive Goblin Barrel here. Always a little bit unfortunate to see a defensive Goblin Barrel, but sometimes you have to do it, and it's actually not too bad of a play in certain scenarios. And unfortunately, his Magic Archer actually does get quite a bit of chip damage just from like that kind of incidental lineup. But just gonna go with the Princess at the river here now, because we already have a Princess down farther back, so not too bad, I think. And if Princess can get like a couple more shots, okay, just gonna get pushed forward and die, but I'm just gonna go with the Knight plus Goblin Barrel here, and this should be pretty close, but I think we just won here. Yeah, that will be a good game. Really nice comeback. Alright, hopping in the next match here, we're gonna be up against this guy. Last time I faced this guy, I called him the soccer player, Sergio Ramos, and all of you guys thought that I was just like, I didn't even know who this guy was, but I know who this guy is. He's the 2017 Clash Royale World Champion, so should be a good match here. He's gonna actually play Wizard here, so not really too sure what he's playing, but he does have Hog Rider as well, so I think it actually could be the deck that one Giant Skeleton Hog Rider player uses, and yeah, he's gonna go with the Giant Skeleton there, so pretty interesting deck that he's running here, but I think we should have a pretty fine matchup here. Actually, with like a super high Inferno Tower seems kind of weird, but just want to kill the Giant Skeleton as quickly as possible to prevent him from building up any push. And with his deck, we do have guards as well, which you can't really kill too well, so we have multiple responses to be able to like shut down his Hog Riders. And also with the Ice Spirit buff, it's actually doing like super well against Hog Rider. Like the Hog would always get a ton of hits before against like random stuff, but now when you go with like an Ice Spirit plus whatever else, it feels like it always denies one more Hog hit than it would have in the past. And yeah, I was kind of just like talking there, but he did kind of waste a fireball and nothing right there. I guess he was trying to like predict I don't know, maybe a Goblin gang or something. Maybe he forgot we had guards in our deck. Not really too sure there, but fine by me. And just chipping away with the Ice Spirits as well. They do a little bit more damage than Electro Spirits actually, so that's something nice. And we can't really get much Goblin Barrel chip if he plays it well, because he does have Tornado for our Goblin Barrel, he does have the Log and Skarmy, and even Fireball if he needs, so pretty much like half of his deck can counter our Goblin Barrels if he uses them properly. Alright, and he's just going to keep on setting Giant Skeleton pushes up, but I'm not really too scared here, because we have Rocket for his Wizard every time, we have Knight for the Giant Skeleton, we have like Inferno Tower for the Hog, but as you can see here, you can really easily shut it down with just like Guards plus Ice Spirit or Guards plus Log. And he did go with the weird Nado there against the Knight. I guess he was trying to like pull it back so his Giant Skeleton would lock on our tower, but honestly a pretty bad Nado. Nado plus whatever else he used there, because it didn't really do anything to us. Alright, and this Wizard is a little bit annoying here, to be honest, but I think we should be fine here, just going with the high Inferno Tower. I'm going to log it as well to make sure we finish everything off really nicely. And maybe even like later in the game we can start like rocketing his tower and Giant Skeleton if he gives us value. So I don't really want to rocket yet because we're up quite a bit of damage, so there's no need to be super aggressive with going with rockets on his Giant Skeletons, but can probably do it later in the game here. Alright, and he's going to put a little bit of split lane pressure, but honestly, Inferno Tower just has so much HP that even though the Hawk is being tanked for, it's never really going to break through, I feel like, unless he gets like a lucky interaction. Like, one thing that the Giant Skeleton Hog players can do is that they can usually push the Hog away from a building using the Giant Skeleton because of how much mass it has, so yeah, they can sometimes get lucky like that, but we're not really giving him the chance because we're always like killing his Giant Skeletons before they really get too far across the map. And I don't even think his Giant Skeleton is going to hit our tower with the bomb, but just going to log it back to make sure. And not just going to go with the Goblin Barrel plus Princess, just because like if he goes with the Skarmy on the Goblin Barrel, it will just get killed by the Princess. So yeah, really good right here. And just going to set up with another Inferno Tower. He will kind of block it with a Knight, kind of a weird Knight there, but I think it should be fine for us. And we can always rocket his Hog Riders if we have to as well, so we can really do a ton of things to counter his stuff. And I'm going to go with Guards here as well, but he will go with the Log on our Princess at the same time, so honestly pretty bad timing with the Guards right there, but it doesn't really matter too much because we're already in triple elixir, so now we don't really have to worry too much about wasting our cards, or like using our cards super smartly. Now we just have to like spam stuff. And we might have to defend this push here still. Gonna be a little bit sketchy right here, but just gonna go with Guards here. Gonna log back this as well. I'm gonna go with the high Inferno Tower, just distracting the Giant Skeleton, but also pulling the Hog Rider. And probably could have just rocketed there, but just wanted to be safe. And thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!